Hey guys, Matt from TOTALmtg here, and it's Deck Tech Tuesday. And this week we are showcasing the winner of Let's Build a Deck Viewer's Choice. The winner was Altered Ego. So I've built a deck around Altered Ego. It's my second deck I've built, I must say. The first deck I built I wasn't too happy with. You might get to see that in a versus match, which it did perform okay. I'm not going to obviously tell you the results. We did film a couple of matches with it. But this is my new and improved deck, which I think hopefully, with decks you have to test them out a little bit, see if they work. Which it did work, but there was a couple of cards I wasn't too happy with. So I completely re-changed the deck, and I'm a lot happier with this one. So here we go. Let's start off with the creatures. So we're starting off with JD Offshoot. We've turned into more of a Ego ramp deck. That's what we're calling it. And it'd be nice to get an early creature down. We're going to be dropping lands. So the gain life, our Egos will be coming down a bit later in play because we want to get them on with counters. And this could help stall the board a bit. It's a 0-3 toughness for 1. And it's going to gain some life every time we put a land in. And we've got vegetation, explosive vegetations, Nissa's pilgrimages, stuff like that. So we will be gaining a lot of land. So we're going to run 4 of them. Next is a Sylvan Advocate, one of the best 2-drops in the standard format at the moment. It's a 2-3 for 2, has vigilance, good early creature as well, good early blocker. And with the amount of lands we're going to be dropping, it's going to get, plus 2-2 is pretty easy, hopefully. And then it will become a 4-5. So we're going to run 4 of them. And then on to one of the most important cards of the deck, the deck we've built around, which is Altered Ego. We're going to run a full 4 play set of these because the deck is built around, and possibly 3 might be the right amount, but I want to play with the full 4. I want to be drawing this card. It can't be countered, costs 2 green, blue, and then it's X for the amount of counters you put on. You get to copy a creature onto the battlefield. So, even copying, if we have to, a Sylvan Advocate, by the time we have to, it could be a 4-5, and then with counters, could be a, anything is big. But hopefully we're going to be copying some great creatures that our opponents control. More onto the ramp side here, Oblivion Sower. Another card, a good card for the Ego to copy as well. Its stats are already 5-8, with counters it could be anything 7-10, anything like that. But when you cast the Oblivion Sower, which is going to help us towards our ramp, you target opponent exile top 4 cards, then you may put any number of land cards that player owns from exile onto the battlefield under your control. So we're going to run 3 of them. And then we're going to get into our big guys, our game winners. Gaia's Revenge, can't be countered, has haste, can't be the target of non-green spells or abilities from non-green sources. So this is the ideal card for us to copy if we can, even just putting down Gaia's Revenge is, it's a big 8-5 haste creature. We'll be ramping into it. Can't be countered and can't be targeted as well by non-green sources. So, it's very strong Gaia's Revenge in this sort of ramp deck. And, if we copy it and we put 2 or 3 counters on it, we could be swinging with like an 11-8 or something like that with haste. So we're going to run 3 of them. And then we go on to a couple of the big, when you're running ramp, these are the kind of creatures that you want. Copying these, obviously you're not going to get the cast effects and the legendary, so you obviously lose one. But this is not really a creature for us to copy. It's more of a creature for us to, win games with. Kozilek the Great Distortion can potentially help us draw cards, has menace, and it helps us counter spells. Which the sideboard is, it's a bit more controlling in the sideboard. And then we're going to run a couple of Ulamogs. When you cast Ulamog, exile 2 target permanents. It's indestructible. And the defending player, when it attacks, exiles to top 20 cards. So we are going to be ramping into these big creatures. And we have the Altered Ego to copy their good creatures. Possibly some of ours if we need to. So now we're going to go into the spells. We're going to run a 1 of From Beyond. We can hopefully get this down, a turn earlier. Gets us the Scions. We can ramp into the bigger stuff quicker. sacrificing to, you know, make the egos bigger and stuff like that. And also the important card, pay 2 sacrifice, search low for an Eldrazi card. So if we need to, we can go and search for our 2 big Eldrazi's, you know, one of them. Couple of Hedron Archives, helps with the ramp as well, and also we can sacrifice to draw 2 cards if we need to, so we're going to run 2 of them. And then the normal ramp package, we got 4 Explosive Vegetations, 4 Nissa's Pilgrimage. Helps us get, you know, gets our lands out. We've got big creatures there. We want to play them. We want to play Ego for big counters and stuff like that. We don't really want to be playing it for, you know, just for the 4 mana, but sometimes we may have to. And then we just run a little bit of, you know, control to help us. We've got 1 Dispel and a couple of Negates. Maybe, you know, just to help us when they're trying to kill stuff or anything like that. It's just a couple of little, you know, few little control spells. I wanted a bit more blue in there. And that goes towards the sideboard, helps us out a bit more. So now we're going to go to the lands. We're going to run a couple of Shrine of Forsaken Gods. You know, we've only got, I think it's 3 or 4 colourless spells. But a couple of them might sort of help us. We've got a Waste in there at all as well. We've got some Yavimar Coasts, couple of Lumbering Falls. Turns into a hexproof creature, you know, which could be good as well. And then we run Islands and Forests. So I will leave obviously the deck list below so you can see the proper count of all those lands and creatures in case you missed out. So now we'll go on to the sideboard. So the sideboard, you know, can be a little bit more controlling. I've got a couple of Jason Raveler Secrets in the sideboard. We could ramp out into this really quick. Scry's one lets us draw a card. Like I said, the control element return target creatures to its owner's hands. We can slow them down even further. And the emblem is brilliant. Whenever an opponent casts his first spell each turn, counter that spell. So that's pretty sweet. We're going to run a couple of them. Going to try one of Tamir's Journal in the sideboard. Beginning of your upkeep, investigate. So we can help, you know, draw cards and stuff like that. And you sacrifice 3 clues, search your library for a card, and put that card into your hand. So yeah, a bit more tutorage. If we can ramp into this a lot earlier as well, it could be a nice little card, like I said, on the control sort of elements. We're going to have a couple of Root Out. Investigate, it costs 3. Because I'm trying to keep this deck kind of on, you know, I didn't want to use Naturalise or anything like that. I think it's Naturalise. It's still in rotation. I'm not too sure. But I'm going to use Root Out because I like it. It's Destroy Artifact or Enchantment, and we get a clue as well. So it helps us draw, you know, potentially draw a card. We're going to have plenty of land out there, so we're going to try a couple of them. Invasive Surgery, counter target sorcery spell. Good if we're coming against any, you know, kind of ramp mirrors. Good against their explosive vegetations and stuff like that. And this is Pilgrimage. And if we have, you know, if we ever do have Delirium, we can obviously do what the Delirium does, control for any number of cards with the same name as that spell, and exile those cards. Invasive Surgery is you know, it's a good strong spell. Nissa's Renewal, going to run a 1 of them. Search your library for 3 basic lands, put them into battlefield, and you gain 7 life. We've got a 1 of Worldbreaker in there, just in case we want that extra creature, or something's not working in our creatures that we have in the main deck. So we're going to have, you know, it's a nice card. When you cast it, you exile target artifact, enchantment, or land. Gives us reach, which helps us against the flyers. And you can sacrifice a land and return it back to your hand. So that's very good as well. Bit of removal. Obviously, we're running colourless lands as well. So we're going to have Spatial Contortion. In case we're coming up against anything early, maybe a quick ally deck like Connor's or anything like that, we can sideboard these in. Gives us some early kill. And then obviously it's susceptible to a bit of flyers. So we're going to run a couple of clip wins where each opponent sacrifices a creature with flying. Good against Drana, you know, Dragon Lord of Tarkus. Sometimes the Green-Red Rams only run 1 of them. So we can make them sacrifice that, hopefully, or anything like that. So guys, this is the Altered Ego deck. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll be interested to try this one. I will probably put up the matches from the other deck as well. And you can have a look at that deck. I tried using the card Willbreaker, but it was just a bit too slow. You know, the idea of using it was quite good. I wanted to target other creatures, but then there wasn't enough for me to target, so it wasn't quite, you know, it was still a nice deck. But this one to me seems like it'd be a lot more consistent. You're ramping out. You're not just relying on your ego, even though we want to use the ego as obviously the win condition because we built the deck around it. But strong creatures like Gaia's Revenge, Oblivion Sowers, and the ramp into the Kozileks and the Ulamog is you know, good win conditions. And then, like the sideboard, we have a lot of good sideboard cards that we can bring in, destruction, stuff like that, counter spells, drawing cards, planeswalkers to keep them on their toes. You take a so they can't. You're not going to let them keep Jace on there. They're going to be attacking that, which saves our life total. Buys us time to get into our big creatures. So, guys, like I say, hope you like this Auto Ego deck. Thanks to everyone that entered that competition. Any ideas for the deck? Let me know. Leaving a nice comment in there, and if you can leave a nice like as well. If you're new to us, please hit that subscribe button. We're on the way to 1,100 subscribers now. It's great. We're pushing on, guys. So thanks for all your support. Anyway, this has been Deck Tech Tuesday. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next week. Cheers, guys.